Good afternoon, Year 5, and welcome to a rather festive science lesson for you. I am going to encourage you to be a little bit daft in this lesson, to be imaginative and think outside the box a bit. Because we are going to be having a look at wrapping paper, which doesn't sound the most thrilling of things, but hopefully you guys can make it quite fun for you. So I'm going to share my screen eventually, and your starter. Can you make a list of all of the different ways you can think of that we can be environmentally friendly, that we can make sure that we're looking after the planet that we live on? So pause the video, off you go. Obviously, there's loads of things, particularly our eco counselors. You guys make sure that you've got a nice long list here. Okay, so the reason I've asked you to come up with that today is because there is a surprising fact about wrapping paper like this, and that is that most traditional wrapping paper isn't actually recyclable. Now, the reason for that is that it will have a plastic film over the top of it or something like that, but it means that it's not all one material. If it was just plastic, then it might be able to be recycled, and if it was just paper, it would just be able to be recycled. But because it's a hybrid of the two, it's very hard to recycle it. So we are going to do a little bit of an idea science lesson, linking back to all of the things that we've done about materials. It's a two-part science lesson today. So what might we be able to use instead of wrapping paper that might be better for the environment? There's loads and loads of answers with this. What I want you to think about is stuff that can be reused, that can be recycled. A lot of wrapping paper at the moment is single use. In theory, you could, if you were very careful when you were unwrapping things, use it again, but only for very precise sized things. So what could we use instead that would be better for the environment, or that we could use more than once we had it? I'll give you a couple of ideas just to start you off. Things like this, which is just brown paper, which you could then decorate with drawings and things like that. That can work because that can be recycled, just depending on how you decorated it. However, it does lose some of the excitingness of wrapping paper, so it depends on what the pros and cons are for each thing. Another thing you could use is a gift bag, because these are a bit easier to reuse because you don't need to rip them as you open them, as long as you made sure that you gave it to a different person on its second usage, I suppose. So what else could you come up with that you could use instead of wrapping paper? And the second part is where I would like you to get a bit silly and a bit daft and a bit creative, is what other purposes could we have for wrapping paper so that it wasn't single use? You can be as crazy as you would like to be with this. I'm currently reading a book that looks at the worst ways to do simple things. So it's got really daft ways of digging holes and things like that. So what daft things could wrapping paper theoretically be used for? If you took all of it in, could you make a parachute out of it? If you had loads and loads of layers, could you use it as wallpaper for the festive time of year? Can you think of loads of different daft, silly reasons or silly things that you could use wrapping paper for that second time? So that's your two-part task today. A bit festive related, might give you a bit of pause for thought when you're wrapping your Christmas presents this year. Let me know the ideas you have. Again, the weirder and the more wonderful they are, the more happy I would be. I would like to spend my Monday evening just sat chuckling away to myself with some of the crazy ideas that you guys have come up with. So best of luck, and use some of that. If you have spare wrapping paper around the house, feel free to make little prototypes of things that you think it could be used for and see if it works. But good luck.